Okay, we're trying to proactively parent our kids in the area of training them to speak wisely and respectfully. Even a child is known by his doings. And the fact is, if a man does not sin with his tongue or his mouth, the same as a perfect man. And we want to train perfect meaning like mature. We want to train up some mature little children that are respectful verbally.
Yes. So part of maturing is learning how to control your tongue, your speech, your when to talk, when not to talk. It says in Proverbs, a fool utters all his mind, but a wise man keeps it till later. Well, wisdom is, you're not born with it. You've got to train into it. So part of what you want to do with your children is train them to be wise. And part of being wise is knowing when to speak and when not to speak.
Well, in the old days, we said just that children should be, or a child, but children should be seen and not heard. That was, I guess you could call that an axiom, but an oversimplification, which I think people have rebelled against because they want to liberate their children. They don't want, like feminism. Now we've got whatever childism would look like. That children have been elevated to where they have as much right to speak or authority to impose or express themselves as anybody does. And anyway, I don't think that's been terribly healthy.
Now, part of the problem with that is you don't see it right away because you're like, oh, I'm encouraging them to talk and to express themselves and to exercise their intellect. But with that kind of attention and that kind of uncontrolled, not controlled, not choosing your words, you're also teaching them to be a narcissistic, to where I'm the center of the universe, and when it's full blown, when they're older, it's like they have to be the center of attention, and they don't know any other way to be, and something's wrong if they're not. And sorry to say, you're not the center of the universe. Your kid is not the center of the universe, and you leave them with that impression. That's not going to work.
Well, I think the wisdom here, from my perspective, is not to deny any attention to a child, nor to never allow them to express themselves. But I think the context of that is absolutely critical. And one area that comes to mind is just if any kind of a parental instruction is given, if the child feels free to talk back. And see, talk back, that tells you it's a negative context. Yeah. Not to speak alternatively, or whatever you would say, which sounds good, but to talk back. And in my generation, which I don't say that we teach Bible out of generational things, but I think they interpreted their Bible reasonably well, to say that it's dishonoring to the parent if they give a command and an instruction, and then the child has to give some kind of, even if it's just clarification, which I'd say clarification could be fine. If you say jump and they say how high, but I'd prefer they just start jumping. Then you give them another command, hey, jump higher, if that's what you need. But anyway, the idea that they're talking back, that's the big negative.
Right, and that would be a symptom of really this is one of the big 10, right? 10 commandments of honor your father and mother, that it be well with you. This is basically, when it's put that way, this is a no joke, we're not playing around thing. This is important, this is critical. You need to make this a real part of what you got going on.
Oh, absolutely. This is not Johnny and Patrick saying, well, we just prefer kids to be quiet. I might prefer kids to be loud, but my preference has nothing to do with anything. What is important is if it's clear and evident to anyone else, even if the parent is oblivious, and I've seen oblivious parents, trust me, but if anybody else can look at that and go, wow, how embarrassing, that kid just told their mother which end of the horse does the pooping, wow, that's humiliating, and it's dishonoring to the parents, and it's sin with a capital S. So I really feel like if we don't train our kids not to sin, what are we doing?
Right.
You know.
Parenting 101.